Okay, today we are talking about properties of operations. And we're talking about 6, so you're going to be taking a lot of notes. How can you use properties of operations to rewrite expressions? So the first property we're going to talk about is the commutative property. And think about the word commutative, or the word in commutative, commute. Maybe you've heard of the word or the word commute used before. And usually when we're talking about commuting, we're talking about someone commuting to work or having a great distance that they have to travel to work. So if they have a long commute, they have a long distance that they travel. So think about this word traveling when you think of the commutative property. The commutative property, okay, here of addition states that the order in which the numbers are added does not change the sum. And the commutative property of multiplication states the order in which the numbers are multiplied does not change the sum. So if you look at the examples in your book, addition here, it says, well, if I have a number A plus a number B, well, that's going to equal the same, just reversed, B plus A. Or here's an example of numbers. 8 plus 18 is equal to, the numbers flipped, 18 first plus 8. And the same for multiplication. A number A times a number B is going to equal that same number B times the number A. And shown with numbers, well, 5 times 12 does equal 12 times 5. So what the commutative property is basically saying is I can add numbers, 2 plus 5, and the order does not matter. 2 plus 5 or 5 plus 2, they are both going to be equal, and they're both going to be 7. It doesn't matter the order. Or 2 times 5 is going to equal 5 times 2. Both will equal 10. Now why does this work only for, why do they only have the commutative property for addition and multiplication? Well, does it work for subtraction? 5 minus 2, does that equal 2 minus 5? Well, 5 minus 2 is going to be 3, but if I have 2 and I take 5 away, well, I'm at -3, I'm in the hole, so that does not equal. 3 does not equal -3. What about division? Let's say 4 divided by 2. Does that equal 2 divided by 4? Well, 4 divided by 2 is 2, but what's 2 divided by 4? Well, that's 2 over 4, or 1/2. So the commutative property does not work with subtraction or division. Okay, make sure you're taking notes here, and we're moving on to the associative property. The associative property of addition and multiplication. Think of the word associative and the word in that, which is associate. Who do you associate with? Who do you group yourself with? And maybe that will help you remember this. The associative property of addition states that the way numbers are grouped does not affect the sum or the total when they're added. And let's look at this example here. We have a number A plus a number B plus C equals A plus B in parentheses plus C. Now remember, if we see parentheses, this means do me first, okay? You have to do the operation in the parentheses first. So if we look at the next example, we have 2 plus, well, first 8 plus 10. Does that equal, if I first add 8 plus 2 plus 10? Well, 8 plus 10 is 18, plus 2, well, that's going to give me 20. Over on this side, 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 10, again, gives me 20. So yes, that works. So notice here in the associative property, the two numbers being grouped are different. The order is the same. I have 2, 8, 10 on this side of the equal sign. On to the right I have 2, 8, 10. But the numbers in the parentheses, or the numbers being associated or grouped, are different. But yet I still get the same sum. So look at multiplication. It's the same thing. The associative property of multiplication states that the way the numbers are grouped does not affect the product. So we have A times B times C first is going to equal, well, A times B first times C. They give us some numbers here. 2 times 4 times 5, multiplying 4 times 5 first, does it equal 2 times 4, multiplied first, times 5? Well, if we solve the problem on the left, we have 4 times 5, which is 20, and then we're going to multiply that times 2. Well, we have 40. On the right, 2 times 4 is 8, and 8 times 5, well, yes, it's 40, so it does work. Okay, let's look at a couple more examples. If I say 1 plus 2 plus 3 equals 1 plus 2 plus 3, well, I get the same answer. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 3, well, that's 6. 2 plus 2 is 5, plus 1, well, again, 6. 6 equals 6. Well, the same thing with multiplication. 1 times 2, let's group these first, times 3. Does that equal 1 times 2 times 3? Parentheses means do me first, so 1 times 2 is 2, times 3, 6. And here 2 times 3 is 6, times 1, well, that is 6. That works. So set up a problem and try yourself and see, well, why does this work just for addition or just for multiplication? Notice each example I give, it's only addition in the operations, and then this example is only multiplication. Try one with subtraction, try one with division, and see what you find out. Okay, the last property we're talking about is the identity property. We have the identity property of addition that states that the sum of any number and 0 is that number. And we have the identity property of multiplication that states that the product of a number and 1 is that number. So let's look at the property of addition first. So basically what it's saying is any number, A, added to 0 when you're adding is going to give you A. It's going to keep its identity. 24 added to 0 is just going to be 24. 5 added to, added to 0 is just going to get me 5. Any number, X, added to 0 is going to get you X. Whereas if we talk about the identity property of multiplication, well, it can't be 0 because any number times 0 is 0. Well, it is 1. Any number times 1 will get you that number. 36 times 1, well, that's 36. 5 times 1, well, that's 5. So any number, and this is why we don't use that multiplication sign, times 1 is going to get you that number. Okay, let's look at the guided practice together. And actually, why don't you pause me and try and solve 1 through 4. It says, do you know how? Find each missing number and tell what property is shown. So pause me, take a minute to do that, and then start it again and see if you have the answers correct. Okay, number 1, we have 19 plus 42 plus 8 equals blank plus 42 plus 8. So look at this, our equal sign, that's our balance. This is it's the same on the left as it is on the right of this equal sign. So if I have two of the same numbers over here, 42 and 8, what number am I missing? Well, it must be 19. Okay, now, that's a little big, but what property is being shown? I have 19 plus 42 plus 8, 19 plus 42 plus 8. They're in the same order, so there's no commuting, there's no traveling of the numbers. What do I have grouped? Well, I have 42 plus 8, and here I have 19 plus 42. So this must be the associative property of what? Addition. And I'm just going to write APA here. You can write it out. Number 2, I have 12 plus 8 equals what plus 12? Well, again, that equal sign is a balanced. Both sides have to be balanced and equal. So if I have 12 plus 8 on this side, and I have 12 plus what on this side, it must be 8. Now notice 12, then 8, and now on this side, 8, then 12. So what property do I have? The commutative property of, again, addition. So I have put CPA for commutative property of addition. And number 3, 42 times 8 times 3 equals 42 times 8 times something times 3. Now look, 42, 8, 3, 42, 8, and then 3. The order is going to be the same, but I have this missing number. And if it is to be equal on both sides, what could I multiply these numbers by and keep the same total? Well, the only number that could be would be 1 because of the identity property of multiplication. So this is identity property of multiplication. And number 4, 32 times 85 equals 85 times what? What's the missing number? Well, for that to be balanced and equal, this must be 32. And what property would this be? Well, the only thing that's changed here is the order. So the numbers have traveled. This must be the commutative property of, this time, multiplication. Okay, so here is your homework. I've given you 3 problems. Fill in the blank and tell what property or properties are shown in number 1 and number 2. Now notice I have property or properties. There may be more than one. And then answer the word problem in number 3. Basically read it, and then you're going to write an answer or an example of the associative property showing this number sentence. All right, and then always, always, always bring a question to class. See you tomorrow.